Microphone's on, good. Right, let's do this paper then. Oh, it looks like I've already started it, so I'll start again. Okay, so question 1. How many minutes are there in 3.5 hours? Well, that is going to be 60, 60, 60, which adds up to 180. Then 180 plus 30 for half an hour, 210. Okay. Next one, question 2. A quarter plus 0.5. Just got an email, sorry. No, I haven't. A quarter plus 0.5. All the answers are in decimals. Okay, so we need to turn this quarter into a decimal as well. Quarter is 0.25, 0.5 is 0.5, put a 0 there, add them together, 0.75. That's the answer there. Which of these shapes has the most sides? So we need to think hexagon is 6, octagon is 8, rhombus is a 4-sided shape, and so is a trapezium. So it's the octagon with the most sides. Number 4, solve x minus 3 is 0. Well, what we do there, if x minus 3 is 0, x must be 3, because 3 minus 3 is 0. Right, the next one, 58 times 73, 50 and 8, 70 and 3, 5 7s are 35. Oops, I'm still in that sheet mode. 5 7s are 35 with 2 noughts. Shape mode there as well. That was 58 times 73. 50 times 3, 5 3s are 15 and 1 0 there. 8 7s are 56, we've got 1 0, and 3 8s are 24. So we add all those numbers together. Oops, studies put too many adds in. 560, 24. 0, 0, 0, and 4 makes 4. 0, 5, 6, and 3. 5 and 6 is 11, plus 2 is 13. I said 3 because I was thinking ahead to the answer before I said the 2. Next one here, 5 plus 1 plus 5 plus 1, so that's 12. 3 plus 1 is 4. So the answer is 4, 2, 3, 4. Let's put these in. Just so if people just, the reason I do that is because if people just want to see the answers, they can just look for the screen with the blobs on it. Okay, number 6. 500 people are asked if they drink coffee. 9/10 say yes. 20% of people who say yes drink at least 3 cups a day. Complete the frequency table. So the frequency is the number of people. Okay, so 9/10 say yes. So if we've got 50 people, 500 people, 1/10 is 500 divided by 10, which is 50 people. So 9/10 is 50 times 9. 9 5s are 45 with that extra 0, 450. Okay, so that means of the 500, 450 say yes, so 50 say no. And then it says 20% of the people who say yes drink at least 3 cups a day. So we've got 450. We could do 10% of 450. 10% is 450 divided by 10, which is 45. Then we want 20%. 20% is going to be 45 times 2, which is 90 people. So 20% drink at least 3 cups a day. So 90 in there. So in the nose, we've got 450 minus 90. 0 minus 0 is 0. 15 minus 9 is 6. So it's 360 people. Don't drink that much. Don't drink 3 cups a day. Right, next one. 6B. What fraction of the 500 people drink at least 3 cups of coffee each day? Well, it was 90. I've got that from this here, look, the 90 out of the 500 is how we're going to make the fraction. So it's 90 out of 500, cancel it down, take a 0 out of each, 9 out of 50. Okay, that's simplest form. Right, by rounding each number to the nearest 10, estimate this answer. You must show your working. Well, 61 rounds to 60, 47 is closest to 50, 102 is closest to 100. So it's 60 times 50 divided by 100. 6 5s are 30, and then we've got 2 more noughts, divide by 100, then they cancel, so the answer's 30. Next one, Nadia's got £5 to buy pencils and rulers. She says she buys 15 pencils, they're 8p each, and as many rulers as possible, and then buy more pencils. How many pencils and how many rulers does she buy? So she's going to buy 15 pencils first of all. 15 times 8. So that you can think of that as 10 times 8 plus 5 times 8. So that's 80 plus 40, which is 120. Because we're in money, that's £1.20. Okay, so the change, she's got £5 minus £1.20. She will get £3.80 change. At that point, she's bought 15 pencils. Then she needs to buy, if you like, that's the same as 380p. So she's going to buy as many rulers as possible at 30p each. Well, we do 380 divided by 30. 30s into 38 go 1, remainder 8. 30s into 80 go 2, remainder 20p. So far she's got 15 pencils, and now for the rulers she can afford 12, and she's got 20p change. So with the 20p she can buy 2 pencils, because 2 pencils cost 2 times 8, which is 16p. So she's going to have another 2 pencils at the end there. So altogether she's going to buy 17 pencils, 12 rulers. Number 9, work out. I'll just colour them in, just if people just want to flash through and see the answers. Instead of, that was an answer, that's an answer, answer, and that's an answer. There's an answer, there's an answer, there, and there. Next one, 25.68 divided by 12. 12s into 25 go 2, remainder 1, because 2 12s are 24. 12s into 16 go 1, remainder 4. 12s into 48 go 4, answer 2.14. 3/8 times 11. Well, we multiply fractions. The whole number, well, the whole number we can write it as, in a fraction we can write it as the whole number over 1. Then we multiply the numerators or the tops, which is 3 times 11, 33. And on the bottom, put 8 times 1, which is 8. So now and then this we read as 33 divided by 8. Well, 32 is 8 times 4. So 33 divided by 8 is 4. We've got 1 left over, and we write that's 4 1/8. Like so. Okay. Right, next one. Triangle has a perimeter of 32, square 40. Well, with a square, we know they're all the same, so I'm straight away jot this down. We don't know with the triangle because it doesn't say it's an equilateral one, so I'm not going to go writing anything on there. 2 sides of the shape are put together to make a pentagon. So that's a 10, that's a 10, and that's a 10. That would have been a 10. So we don't know those two together. Well, these two here add to make, it was 32 for the triangle, 32 minus 10, which is 22, and all these are centimetres. So that's just from that information there. I've sketched all that together. Work out the perimeter of the pentagon, thought so. So we've got for the pentagon 10 plus 10 plus 10, and these two, the full triangle would have been 32, but we don't want that 10, so those two bits are 22. So the perimeter, 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 22, so it's 52 centimetres. There we are, I've got it there. Next question. A football team has P points, and P comes 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw. So it's 3 times W, the number of wins, and 1 point, 1 times D for the number of draws. 6 wins and 2 draws. So that means W is 6, D is 2. So the points is 3 times 6 plus 2. So 18 plus 2. So that team's got 20 points. Okay. After 33 games, a different team has 53 points, and 11 games are drawn. How many games has this team lost? So 11 draws, because it's 1 point for a draw, it's going to be 11 points. And where I've got that from, even though it doesn't say, is because it's 3 points for the number of wins and 1 for the draws. So that, because there isn't a number there, it's a 1 for those number of draws. So 53 minus 11 is 53 minus 11, 42 points left over. Okay, so it's 11 games of draws. So we don't get any points for losing, so all these 42 points must have come from winning. And the wins will give you 3 points for every win. So you do 42 divided by 3, 42 divided by 3, 3's into 4 go 1, remainder 1, 3's into 12 go 4, is 14. So that means it's 14 wins. Okay, so 33 games, they've had 11 draws, 14 wins, that's 25 games have given them some points. Okay, so 33 minus 25, well, there is 33 games to start off with, but 25 games are where these points have come from. So that's equals to 8. 8 losses. 8 losing. 8. Let's word that nicely. How many games they've lost? 8. That's the best way to word that. Okay. Right, next one. Make the following calculations correct. Sometimes there's more than one way of doing these, so I'll just put down one way. You can always check them on your calculators if you've got a different way. So we want to make minus 4. So if you look at this, just do 2. If you subtract the 7 at the end, so you do 2 plus 0 is 2, plus 1 is 3. Take away 7 is minus 4. Okay, so you just got to play around with these in your head. I thought, well, 7, I want negative number. I'll take that 7 away. I just quickly sort of did a reverse, worked it backwards and found that one. Next one, if you multiply a string of numbers together and one of them 0, you automatically get 0. So I'm just put multiplying in there. Okay, now this side, this last one, 2 to the 4 is 16. Okay, so I'm looking here, how about 2 times 8? Okay, so 1 plus 7 is 8, and then a 2 outside the brackets makes 16, 2 to the power 4. Number 14. See how this is going up here. Number 14. A number is picked at random from the first 4 prime numbers. First 4 prime numbers, I'm looking down the list, there's one missing, and that is a 5. And then a number is picked at random from the first 4 square numbers, so we've got 1, 4, 9, 16. 2 numbers are added together to get a score, complete the table. So, first here is 2 plus all these numbers on the top. So this here is going to be 2 more than all those. So that's going to be 3, 6, 11, 18. Right, this next row, it's 3 plus all them. So it's going to be 3 more than all those along there. So 3 plus 1 is 4. Well, you could say 7, 19. So the next row, it's 5 on top of the top row. So it's going to be 6. 5 plus 4, 9. 5 plus 9, 14. 5 plus 16, 21. And the last bottom row is 7 on top of added to those numbers. 7 plus 1 is 8. 7 plus 4, 11. 7 plus 9, 16. 7 plus 16, 23. And it says, what's the probability that the score is a prime number? So we need to go in all these, find all the prime numbers in here. Now prime numbers have only got 2 factors, one on themselves. So I'm looking for the ones, like 6 is 2 times 3. 18 is 6 times 3 or 9 times 2. This is 4 is 2 times 2. 12 is, I need the highlight cursor on here. 12 is 2 times 6. Even numbers are automatically not prime, apart from 2 is the only prime number. 9 is 3 times 3. 21 is 7 times 3. So I've pink dotted all the prime numbers, and we've got 6 prime numbers out of, and in the full grid there's 16. You count them up. 4, 8, 12, 16, which will simplify to 3 over 8. That's also 0.375. Okay, number 15. It says, in a school show, girls to boys is 1:1. Girls who sing to girls who do not sing is 1:2. 8 girls sing in the show. How many students are in the show altogether? Okay, so 8 girls sing. So the girls who sing to girls who don't sing is 1:2. And if we've got 8 here, so that's times 8. So that means this is times 8 as well. So we've got 16. So the total girls is 8 plus 16, which is 24. Okay, so we've got all the girls because they're either singing or not singing, and there's 24 of them all together. Girls to boys is 1:1. So because I've got 48 girls, it means I've got 48 boys as well. No, I've overdone it. I've done the answer before the question. I'm rushing. There's 24 girls, so 24 boys. 24 plus 24 is 48 students altogether. Okay, let's just put this one in here. There's the answers there for that one. That's a variety of answers here. Okay, and I'll just I'll leave that one as pink. Right, next one. P and Q are points on line 3x plus 2y equals 6. Complete the coordinates of P and Q. Right, if we look here, P, these are the x's and these are the y's. So there's the x and there's the y. Here we've been given that the x is 0. Here we've been given that the y is 0. So if we start with P, which is x is 0, we've got 3x plus 2y is 6. So therefore, because the x is 0, that's going to make that 0, because 3 times 0 is 0, so y is 3. Okay, and likewise with q. At q, we've got y is 0. The second coordinate's 0. So we have y is 0. So 3x plus 2y is 6. And this time, that's equals 0. So we end up with 3x is 6, so x is 2. And then, we've done that now then. That's the P, and that's the Q. So draw the line, and it's the same equations what we had before for x values from -3 to 3. So let's plot the points. P is 0, y is 3, Q is 2, y is 0. So let's be careful with this. Join these dots together like so. What will happen is they will follow the same pattern. That's not very neat. So the next one, there, it will go there, and there. Okay, so if you use a ruler, you'll get it a lot neater. Right, circle an expression which does not simplify to y cubed. So that one, 3y's multiplied together, that is a y cubed. This one, y to the 4 divided by y. When you do it, y is a y to the 1, and you subtract the powers there, so that's a y cubed. Y squared times y. You add the powers there when they're times, so that's a y cubed. And this one is a divide, so we subtract. So that one's the y to the 4. So that's the one that's not correct. Okay, there we go. Next one, right, 6,500,000. If you remember, when you've got your millions, thousands, and then so you've got hundreds, tens, and units in your millions, hundreds, tens, and units in your thousands, then hundreds, tens, and units at the end. So we've got 6 in the million, so that's 6 units, 5,000. We haven't got any of those. We don't need to put zeros in there, but we do have to fill these ones up with zeros. 200 in there. So it's 6 million, 5 in the thousands, which is the next block of 3. 200 is the last block of 3. So standard form, you have a number between 1 and 10, but not 10. And then so you start off with a number between 1 and 10, and you multiply by a power of 10. So if you like, I've put the decimal point in there between the 6 and the first 0. I know this in highlighted. That shouldn't really be there, that decimal point. But then to make it, so it's there times every one that we move, it's got to be made 10 times bigger. So it's an extra power of 10. So it's 10, 10 squared, 10 cubed, 10 to the 4, 10 to the 5, 10 to the 6, 10 to the power 6. So you start off with a number between 1 and 10, in our case it's 6.0052, multiplied by 10 to the 6. Okay, next page, use 8 kilometres per hour is 5 miles per hour to convert 96 kilometres per hour to miles per hour. So every 8 of the kilometres per hour is 5 of the miles per hour. So we've got 96 divided by 8 to see how many sets of these 8s we've got in here. 8s into 9 go 1, remainder 1. 8s into 16 go 2. So we've got 8 kilometres per hour, 5 miles per hour. So to get to 96 kilometres per hour, we times by 12. So we've got to do the same on that side as well. 5 times 12 is 60 miles per hour. Okay, correlate in. Right, next one. X kilometres per hour is Y miles per hour. Using 8 kilometres per hour is 5 miles per hour. Write a formula for y in terms of x. So what we did, if you think what I did in the one above, with the 96 up here, over here I divided it by 8. So the 96 is a kilometres per hour. So the 96 is the x, is a particular value of the x. So the 96 I've divided by 8, and then which gave the answer 12, and I multiplied the miles per hour. I multiplied that answer by 5. So you've got to divide by, so to get mph, what we did, we take the kilometres, which was the x, we divided by 12, no we didn't, we divided by 8 to get the 12, and then times by 5. Okay, that's because every set of 8 kilometres per hour is equivalent to 5 miles per hour. Okay, so we say y is the x over 8 times 5. Just going to check that with the one above. The one above we had x. X is 96. 96 divided by 8 is 12. 12 times 5 is 60. Yeah, so that one works. So the miles per hour, which is the y, is 5/8 of the kilometre. Yeah, because that's the miles. Yeah, that's fine. Right, number 20. Here's a circle touching a square. The area of the square is 64. So that's 8. And that's 8 there. Because 8 times 8 is 64. I ate and I ate until I was sick on the floor. 8 times 8 is 64. That's what my niece told me. So that's how she remembers 8 times 8 is 64. So we need to work out the area of the circle. So the area of the square, so the side is 8. And then the area of the circle is pi r squared. But the radius, we know the diameter is 8. The radius is going to be 4. Okay, so the area is pi times r squared. So it's pi times 4 squared. So it's 16 pi. 16 pi, and they've got the centimetres squared there. Okay. Next one, 21. Billy wants to buy these tickets for a show. 4 adults at 15, 2 at 10. You get 10% booking fee for the ticket price and 3% for credit card charge. Work out the total charge. Right, so 4 at 15, that's £60. 2 at £10 is 20. So the original price is 80. 10% of 80 is £8. So you've got 80 plus 8. At that stage we're up to £88. And then 3% is added for paying by credit card. 3%, you think of it as 3p for every pound. Okay, so I've got 88 times 3p, because I've got £88 to 4, and these are going to be pennies. 3 8s are 24 plus 2 is 264p, £2.64. So we've got 88 plus £2.64, which is £90.64p. There we go. Number 22. Density is mass over volume. The mass of solid A is 6 times the mass of solid B. The volume of solid A is 3 times the volume of solid B. So the density of solid A is how many times the density of solid B. Right, so if we let's say we've got the mass of B, the volume of B, and the density of B. Okay, so when we're looking at A, we've got the mass of A is 6 times, so the mass of A is 6 times the mass of B. And then the volume of A is 3 times the volume of B. And density is the mass, which is 6 MB, divided by the volume, which is 3 MB. So when you divide, 6 divided by 3 is 2. It's 2 times the volume of B. Density of A is 2 times the density of B. Okay, so next one. Average speed is distance over time. So let's suppose we've got a distance. So if we let the distance that we've got be capital D, and the time that we've got is capital T. Distance halved is going to be D over 2. Time doubled is time times time 2. Okay, so it says the average speed is distance over time. Distance is halved, so we take our original distance and half it. So D becomes D over 2. And the time is doubled, so T becomes T times 2. What happens to the average speed? So the average speed, it starts off as distance over time. It's now going to be D over 2 over T times 2. So to get rid of this divide by 2 in the numerator here, I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 2. So that's going to be D over T times 4. So times in by 4, but if we divide by 4 in the denominator, because it's in the denominator, it's divide by 4 is the final answer. It's distance half, time is doubled, so the speed goes right down. And that's right, it makes sense, because you're doing a smaller distance and you're taking a lot longer time. So it's got to be divided by 4. Well, with those particular halves and doubles, it's divided by 4. Okay, number 23. A regular polygon has exterior angle, 20. So if you imagine what's going on here, the exterior angle, so we've got this shape which goes round here. That's the interior angle. The exterior is what you get if you carry on. Imagine you're going on the straight line, even though you stopped there, it's the rest of the angle after from it's 180, take away the 180, take away the interior angle. So what we've got, so 180. How do we need to do that one? Oh, I don't think we need to go down that route actually. It is 180 take away. It's 20 degrees. That's what we're told. Right, so if you imagine on this polygon, you've got lots of 20 degrees here. And what will happen is when you get back to the top here, if you zoomed in, you'd have a 20 degrees, you'd have all these 20 degrees, you could put them all together around a point. You could, if you chopped off that bit, I'm just going to do this in a different colour, let's do it here. So if we sort of took that bit there, and then that bit would go into there of another 20 degrees, and that 20 degrees we could put over there. And that 20 degrees could go over there. So altogether we'd have 100, all these 20 degrees going round this point. And what you would find is that the number of these 20s that go around the point is actually, there's one for every side. So the number of sides is actually 360, the full thing, for all around the point, divided by 20, which is 18 sides. So the number of sides of a regular polygon is always 360 divided by the exterior angle. Okay, so that's just something to remember. I hope that helps there. And okay. Right, half to 2/3 is x to 1. Work out the value of x. So basically, we need to have a 1 in, we need to have a 1. Can you actually see that anymore? No, that was a bit silly. That's not highlighter. Highlighter yellow would be nice. Right, we need to have a 1 there, and at the moment we've got 2/3. So what we can do to get, we've got a half. What's going on? Let's turn that to blue. So it's a half to 2/3. Okay, and we need to make, we want a 1 there. We've got 2/3. So the first thing we do, we don't want any fractions. Let's on the right hand side. So let's multiply both sides by 3. So it's 3 over 2 to 2. Okay, and then we don't want it to be 2. We want it to be 1. So we've got to half. So that's times both of them by 3. And the next thing we've got to do is divide both of them by 2. So it's going to be 3/4 to 1. Because 3 halves, 3 over 2 halved is 3/4. If, yeah. So the answer is 3/4. Okay. So basically, it's the number, to do it in one go, is a half times by 3 divided by 2. So it's a half times 3 over 1. If you divide by 2, it's divide by 2 is the same as multiplying by half. So then you've got 3 on the top and 4 on the bottom. That's another way of getting it there. Right, number 25. Oh, this one takes quite a lot of time. 26, 27, 28. Okay, 25. The mean could be less than 20 minutes. So we've got, the table shows information about the times for 10 people to complete a task. 0 to 20, 1, 20 to 46, 40 to 60, 3. Okay, so what we can say, the mean could be less than 20 minutes. So they add up to 10. So basically, if you add up all the scores and divide by 10, you've got to see if it could be less than 20 minutes. Well, now, if you look here, it's 0 is less than, so it can't actually be equals to 0. So let's go for whole minutes. So we can say this one, they actually range from 1 to 20, roughly. It could be a half a minute, but it's, they say it's 1 to 20, and this one it's like 21 to 40, and this one it's like 41 to 60. Okay, so the mean could be less than 20 minutes. So if it was, I'll write this one here, it would be 1, we could, the lowest it could be is 1 times 1 plus 6 lots of 21 plus 3 lots of 41. So they add up to 1 plus 126 plus 123. So the total there is 249, 250. And then when you divide it by 10, the mean for that particular case will be then 25. Okay, so you can see, even if we reduce them all quite a lot, we're not going to get it down to, I'm just going to draw that line in there, we're not going to get it down to, I don't think, we're not going to get it down to less than 20. Well, let's just, if we did it again, with if we did it at 0, the lowest possible for the mean is going to be 1 times 0 plus 6 times 20 plus 3 times 40. 120 is 240. So the smallest, the mean, it's got to be bigger than 24. So that's the lowest there. And then the highest ones, it's going to be 20 times 1, 40 times 6, and 60 times 3. So it's 240. That's 180 and 20. So it's 240 plus 200, 440. So the highest it can be is 44. So the mean could be less than 20 minutes, definitely false. More than 40, that one's possible. Less than 40, that's a possible as well. So what I did over there, you can have 24 is less than the mean. It's less than or equals to 44. Okay, so I quite like that actually. So I like what I've done there better than all that. Okay, now we're going to do the same for the range. The range, so the low ones, the range is, it could be in the top box. I'll write it up here. The range, the top box, it could be 20. The range is the highest, take away the lowest. Okay, so the highest could be, it could go from 20 here up to, but not including 40. So the range has always got to be greater than 20. And the other end of the scale, it could go from 0 up to 60. So it means the range is always going to be less than 60. So the range is going to be 20 is less than the range. It's less than or equals to 60. Okay, so what this means, the range could be more than 60, 40, true. Less than 40, true. More than 60, false. Okay, so that's what they're. Let me just rub that bit out there. I don't want that bit. Okay, get that bit there. Right, 36. No, number 26. Write 36 as a product of prime factors. 36 is 2 times 18, which in turn is 2 times 9, and 9 is 3 times 3. So go for that again. 36, 2 times 18. 82 is prime. So that's a stop there. 18 is not prime. So we write that as 2 times 9. And here the 2's prime, but the 9 isn't, because we can break that down again. The 9 is 3 times 3. And the 3's are both prime. So hence, once we've got everything primed, primes at the end of each bit, we're okay. So it's 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. So in index form, it's 2 squared times 3 squared. And then the next one, circle the value of cos 90. Now you just got to know these. If you think about the cosine graph, looks like this, starts at 1. And 90 is there, so cos 90 is 0. And just note, there is a way of doing this with your fingers, on your fingers. You've just got to learn them. The way that I do it with a graph, I think, right, cosine, I could stretch out a bit more, so I've got a bit more room. Starts at 0. The high points, the zeros, and the low points all go up by 90 degrees. So it's 90, 180, 270, 360. Okay, so you've just got to learn them. The other one that you need is the sine, which looks like this. Again, the high points and the zeros and the low points are all, goes up in steps of 90. So it's 0, 90, 180, 270, 360. And then the last one, solve the simultaneous equations. Just check. Solve the simultaneous equations. 2x plus y is 18. Call that equation 1. X minus y is 6. call that equation 2. So by looking at these, we can see if we add equation 1 to equation 2, what we actually get is we'll be able to eliminate the y's. So we do equation 1 plus equation 2. We'll get the 2x makes 3x. The y's cancel out because you get plus y minus y. You get 18 plus 6 on the right hand side, which is 24. So therefore x is 8. And then you can say substitute for x in 2. So you get 8 minus y is 6. So therefore y has to be 2, because 8 minus 2 is 6. Okay, so that's how to complete that paper. Let's get that question there. That one's done. I suppose that one should be in that colour for consistency. That's just for people who want to see the answers as they're flicking through. Good. Right, I'm happy with that. There we are. Okay.